I love it. It is so satisfying to see Trudeau take a clean shot back at Trump, and it was only minutes after the U.S. lost the hockey championship to Canada. So Trudeau was ready. He was ready to pounce, and he did. He directly responded to Trump's month or two of bullying. Trump has been alienating our closest ally to the north by saying they would make a better 51st state than a country, saying that Trudeau would make a better governor than a prime minister, just completely disrespectful and basically stripping Canada's sovereignty away. So seeing Trudeau immediately chirp back at Donald Trump, it was so incredibly satisfying. Now, the U.S. lost the game last night. I'm sure you heard that. And I don't want the U.S. to be losing games abroad, but honestly, Trudeau's tweet makes this loss worth it, number one. But also, I'm kind of happy we don't have to see Trump and MAGA gloating about the win and also saying that now this is a pretext for us invading Canada. Oh, we beat you at your own game. Now we're going to take your country. You know they would have been smug pricks about it. So honestly, I'm kind of happy Canada took the win. I'm not going to lie. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. And let's start out here. Let's lay the groundwork and explain how we got here. Trudeau thumbs nose at Trump as Canada revels in hockey win. He does thumb his nose a lot. Canada beat the U.S. in a championship game with added meaning because of political tensions caused by President Trump's taunts and economic threats. And I'm not trying to insert politics where it shouldn't be. I'm not saying this game was purely political, but without a doubt, there was a political element to this game because of Trump's taunts. And again, I'm kind of glad Canada got the win. It took Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada just minutes to tap out his reaction to his nation's victory over the United States in an international hockey game in Boston on Thursday. And remember, Trump has been saying stuff like this for months. Oh, Canada. And it's a map of North America, or at least most of North America. And Canada has a U.S. flag over it. Just absolutely disgusting. Trump could also be mad because there are about 5 photos out now of Melania kissing Trudeau while Trump is looking off the other way. Kind of getting cucked here, and even this woman is noticing it. Look at this woman. She's like, are you going to let that happen? Are you going to let Trudeau do that? So Trudeau decides to come out and just absolutely smack Trump in the face. And let me just show you. Yesterday morning, before the game, Trump did his normal taunting and teasing and said, I'll be calling our great American hockey team this morning to spur them on towards victory against Canada, which, with far lower taxes and much stronger security, will someday, maybe soon, become our cherished and very important 51st state. So in the first sentence of Trump's post, in the very first sentence, he can't even shy away from the taunting. It's not even, why am I calling it taunting? It's an imperial threat. He has imperial ambitions to invade our next door neighbor, and he shows that through taunting, I think it's fair to say. He then says, I will be speaking before the governors tonight in D.C. and will sadly, therefore, be unable to attend. But we will all be watching, and if Governor Trudeau would like to join us, he would be most welcome. Good luck to everybody, and have a great game tonight. All right, so before we jump into Trudeau's response, I want to point out a few things. Number one, every team Trump supports seems to lose. But number two, Trump is not joking when he says that he wants to make Canada the 51st state. I shouldn't even call it teasing because that implies that there's like satire in there. It's not satire. Even Trudeau was caught on a hot mic. He didn't know he was being recorded. He was caught on a hot mic saying that Trump is not joking. And let me read off what Trudeau says because the audio is all fuzzy in this hot mic clip. But Trudeau himself says, I suggest that not only does the Trump administration know how many critical minerals we have, but that may be even why they keep talking about absorbing us, which is wild, absorbing us and making us the 51st state. They're very aware of our resources, of what we have, and they very much want to be able to benefit from those. But Mr. Trump has it in mind that one of the easiest ways of doing that is absorbing our country, and it is a real thing. So when Trudeau says it is a real thing, he means there is a real threat. When Trump tweets about Canada being the 51st state, there is a real imperial threat because Trump wants access to their minerals in the same way that he's trying to bully Ukraine into getting their minerals. But let's go on to Trudeau's tweet. Trudeau tweeted out minutes after the game, quote, you can't take our country and you can't take our game. And this post has 242,000 likes and almost 10 million views overnight. It hasn't even been 12 hours and it is blowing the hell up. And I have a few thoughts. Number one, this is how you punch back against Trump. This is how you punch back against a narcissist. You take his own his own imperial ambitions, flip them back at him and use it as a big old slap in the face. But number two, I said earlier in the game that I'm actually okay. I'm almost happy with Canada winning the game just so we got to see this tweet. Could you imagine how depressing it would be? And this sounds messed up to say, but could you imagine how depressing it would be if America would have won the game and we had to spend all night and honestly all weekend listening to MAGA say, oh, this is why we're better than you. We're about to invade you. They would literally say, if you can't even beat us in hockey, how are you supposed to beat us on the battlefield? So I am sorry to any Trump supporter who's going to get mad that Trudeau said this, but even beyond the Trump supporters, imagine how much this pissed off Trump. I can almost guarantee Trump is already typing up a long, furious response. Let's check his Truth Social. Has he posted anything? Nope. He hasn't posted anything in 12 hours, but I guarantee Trump is typing up a long, fiery response right now. Pierre Poilievre said, Canada's game, Canada's legacy, the true north, strong, free, and golden. Michael Dixon said, so now that Canada has beaten Team USA at the Four Nations face-off, Prime Minister Trudeau can now refer to Pudge as Premier Trump of the 11th province, right? Everything Trump touches dies. There's a truth to that. I mean, every team he supported lately has lost, but listen to this. It took Prime Minister Trudeau just minutes to tap out his reaction to the nation's victory over the U.S. Quote, you can't take our country and you can't take our game, Mr. Trudeau wrote on X. And ahead of the match, the stakes were high for Canada, which is the birthplace of hockey, because for weeks, Trump has threatened to devastate the Canadian economy with tariffs and mockingly belittled the nation by suggesting it become the United States' 51st state. And I hate how normalized this has become. I hate how we're talking about Trump's 51st state imperial ambitions like it's some normalized thing. We just need to take a step back and realize how crazy it is that Canada has to affirm on a daily basis that they are a sovereign country because they don't even know if their neighbors to the south are reliable. Mr. Trudeau's swift repost after the game tapped into an anger that has simmered across Canada since Mr. Trump took office on January 20th. Ironically, I've heard reports that Trump's attacks against Trudeau, while meant to destabilize Canada, have only made Trudeau slightly more popular in the polls. Because when you're attacking Trudeau, there's a unifying effect in Canada, right? I guarantee, honestly, I guarantee that Trudeau tweet, you can't take our country, you can't take our game, probably boosted him in his approval rating a few points. In the same way that Trump ragging on Zelensky ends up improving Zelensky's approval rating because the country begins to rally behind their leader, whether it's Zelensky or Trudeau. The political tensions had been spilling over into sports arenas for weeks. The U.S. anthem was loudly booed at NBA games and NHL games in Canada, but that did not deter Mr. Trump from repeating this taunt before the championship game. He said, I think they have to become the 51st state during a speech on Thursday in Washington. Quote, and you heard the people booing the national anthem, but I think ultimately they'll be praising the national anthem. I mean, this sounds very, very fascistic. He's like, wait to see what happens. I think after our military does a quick little 1-2 military operation, they'll be praising the national anthem. It's just very odd. It reminds me of the movie Civil War that came out last year, where the one dude's like, what kind of American are you? What kind of American are you? That's what it reminds me of, because he's just saying like, oh, these people will bend the knee. It's a very odd, thinly veiled threat in my opinion. You guys see that, right? Let me know in the comment section. You see how he's kind of threatening. He's like, ultimately, they'll be praising the national anthem. But, you know, I'll leave it there. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, drop some blue hearts to help boost this video. I love every single one of you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.